Module 6, How to Collect Evidence of Personalized Student Achievement within the Personalized Butterfly Metric System. Multiplemetrics.org, Personalized Butterfly Metric System. The Butterfly Metric System. If you're going to institute this asset-based system, it's important you follow all these steps to the T. Follow them exactly. And that way, statistically, it's already set up where you can't have metrics misalignment, any of those things creep in. For instance, right here, number 1, asset safeguarding. All assets are to be housed inside the PBMS Butterfly Metric System portfolio and secured at the classroom, school site, or district office level at the district's preference. It seems like a small thing, but it's an important detail. So if you're at the school site level or the school district level, a teacher can't say, well, the student wasn't responsible, they lost their portfolio, and therefore their grade is a 0. Now, if you're a teacher instituting this on your own, the asset safeguarding is not going to matter. Other than that, you're going to keep those in your classroom. If you lose the folders, or a student maybe steals all the folders, or the custodian throws them in the garbage, you can't just say, well, you lost your folder, you achieved a 0%. The asset safeguarding is more designed around a whole school district or a school building to ensure that when they have a revolving door of principals and teachers, that the teacher can't say, well, the student wasn't responsible and they achieved 0 because they lost their portfolio, they lost their manila folder or their electronic folder. So number 1, asset safeguarding. That's the first thing. Contents. Only assets C-70% or higher are allowed to be inserted into the asset-based personalized butterfly metric system portfolio. Each student has a personalized butterfly metric system portfolio per course or per section. We would like to get you an encrypted portfolio database for you to easily use, but we don't have that at this time at multiplemetrics.org. However, check in periodically over the months and years to see if we would have something like this. In the meantime, you could use a Google Classroom folder, any kind of electronic folder you could use. You could also utilize something as rudimentary as a milk crate and manila folders. And if you're screaming at the screen, if the student achieved a 53% on the quiz, they deserve a 53%. That is fine, but do not put it in the portfolio. And you do not have to do this. Remember, this is an asset-based system. It's not for everybody. But if you want to try it, then check it out. You just need a manila folder or an electronic folder to house all your artifacts, your assets. Number 3, evidence collection. Personalized student achievement assets are to be inserted into the personalized butterfly metric system portfolio early and often to celebrate teaching and learning. And this is to honor the students and the families, but it's also for you as the teacher, because the teachers control the system. The administrators do not. But when the administrator comes into your classroom and they look through your portfolios, and you've had all these instructional minutes inside the historical system, which is riddled with workflow and almost like a lobotomy, mind-numbing workflow, and you have all this workflow, but you don't even have anything in your portfolios, that's a problem. You want the students to get something right in the portfolio that is an asset. If the student wants to put in something that they're passionate about that's a 66% or 61% or 69% or 42%, that does not go in the portfolio. Remember, only an asset, which is defined in the PBMS, as a 70% or higher goes in there. So send the student back and have them do mastery learning, or at least get it up to an asset. That's fine too, but only put assets in there. And what these assets are doing is they're memorializing your teaching effectiveness. They're the evidence. And if you deal with an audit like you could deal with in some states, these assets are your evidence. For the audit, these are the evidence of your personalized assessment. And that's the piece that's been missing from education forever. Because we've learned ad nauseum, at least at the higher levels of educational administration, that personalized curriculum and instruction is meaningless without personalized assessment. Yeah, personalized assessment isn't choosing and selecting from different assignments or contract-based learning, or personalized assessment is so many things out there that we think is personalized assessment that are not. But the personalized butterfly metric system systematically ensures that you are conducting personalized assessment. Personalized assessment in the years to come will be the main theme of education. Right now, it might be a challenge for you. But look, if we could go back into history, there were things that were a challenge for people, and they ended up on the wrong side of history. And we judge them very harshly. If you could get student achievement assets into the system, into the portfolio, and the personalized butterfly metric system early and often, then you will have the autonomy to qualitatively look at how that student achieved, and no matter what happens throughout the semester or the marking period, you'll at least have some assets in there. The worst thing you could do is have it be the last week of the marking period, and then you're trying to put some assets in there. Get some assets right in there. And have the students do it. Don't be taking papers home and grading them. Don't do that. Have the students do that. Do peer-to-peer assessments. Do rubrics in student-based rubrics, peer-to-peer rubrics, things like that. So many things. You know, so many things you could do. Do those things. Don't go and grade papers. Do not do that. All right. So the main thing: get the evidence collection, get the assets in there early and often. An asset is defined as 70% or higher in the personalized butterfly metric system. Less than a 70%, it does not go in there. It's forbidden. Number 4, teacher option 1. Student presents the PBMS portfolio to the class at the end of the marking period during instructional time, where the teacher computes the report card grade in real time during the PBMS showcase. In other words, not during your planning time, not on Saturday, not on Sunday, not in 8 o'clock at night. The teachers control the system. You don't have to do option 1 if you're a teacher. You control it. The administrator has no say. The district office has no say if you're doing the personalized butterfly metric system. If they have a say, you're doing something else. So don't tell people you're doing the personalized butterfly metric system. We don't want you to tell people you're doing it, because you're not. If you deviate, do not deviate. Metrics misalignments will creep in. There's a million reasons why. Okay, but in the option 1, you cannot do this in one class period. So when the students go up to present, this is going to take some time at the end of the marking period. Well, what are you doing? What you're doing is having the students do presenting, public speaking, and This is a very important skill. You're also having students sell what they have in the personalized butterfly metric system portfolio. And as a teacher, you have a vested interest. Hopefully you're rooting for every student. Even if the student drove you nuts and they didn't do some of the assignments, or they whatever it could be, whatever your idiosyncrasy is, or just as a human being, as a teacher, um, maybe the student wasn't paying attention to you in some lecture or something, which hopefully you're not doing too many lectures, okay? But you're rooting for all these students as the teacher. When they present what they have in the portfolio, it's important that that's honored in the showcase. Maybe they only have one thing in their portfolio. Hopefully not, but maybe they only have one thing in their portfolio. That's still honored. And if that one thing is the invention of the internet, then hey, you probably achieved an A+. Another student might have 1,000 things in their portfolio, and they might achieve a 70. It's up to you as the teacher in your best professional judgment with the assets that you have inside the system. So it's important you get those assets in there. If you, the teacher, choose option 1, the administration cannot tell you what to choose, you choose, then it's very important you calendar that and you plan that into your planning. Teacher option 2. And again, the teacher selects this, not the department chair, not the uh, principal, not your partner teacher, not you decide this as the teacher. The teacher has full autonomy inside the system, but you need to stay inside the personalized butterfly metric system. Do not change a thing, okay? And you'll find in the system you actually get full autonomy as the teacher. So teacher option 2, most teachers do not choose this, but you could choose this. That's no problem. Students do not present in the PBMS during instructional time to the teacher in class at the end of the marking period. Instead, the teacher computes or computates the grade during their prep time, planning time, or on their weekends, or at 9 o'clock at night, whatever the teacher wants to do. And if you want to do that, that's fine. The downside of selecting option 2 is the students don't get an opportunity to have a discourse. They don't have an opportunity to showcase. They don't have an opportunity to sell. And you think, well, they're not all going to be salespeople. Everything in life is either sell or be sold. Everything. We're mass consumers in one way or another. Um, and it's not just about entrepreneurship. Everything is sell or be sold. You are selling, as the teacher, you are selling to the principal to change your planning time to such and such a period before the school year starts when you look at the master schedule, or because it's better for kids, or whatever the reason. You're selling every day you go to work, believe it or not. You're selling something. So it's important that students get to do that, and they don't get to do that in option 2. They don't get to do public speaking, and we need the students speaking more and the teachers speaking less. However, that's not to say you're not doing the personalized butterfly metric system. In some content areas, option 2 might actually make more sense. So you decide as the teacher, option 1 or option 2. Number 6, personalized report card grade computation. On a personalized basis, whether you select option 1 or option 2, regardless of that, everybody is going to do number 6. So again, personalized report card grade computation. On a personalized basis, the teacher places mean, median, mode, or any grade the teacher wishes from the personalized butterfly metric system. The teachers control the system, not the administrators. For instance, if the student has a single 100% asset in their personalized butterfly metric system portfolio, the teacher can drop it all the way down to a 70%. So if the student just did one assignment for the whole marking period and is 100%, and it's in the asset portfolio, what are you to do as the teacher? Well, they certainly didn't achieve 100%, but only you would know that, not the administrator. Not I wouldn't know that. Somebody that's spending time in the classroom would know that. And you could try to give a bunch of assignments and things to change the grades around, or give out a bunch of busy work at the end of the marking period because you realize all your students are failing, and all these other mindless things that happen in public schools and private schools on a yearly basis or at the end of every marking period. But in the personalized butterfly metric system, you don't do that. Just my biggest pet peeve is wasting my time. Don't waste your time. Okay, so you could take 100% asset, and it could be 100%. But if it was a lower level, not a higher order thinking level assignment, and it was just a rote memorization assignment, and the student achieved 100%, then they probably really did achieve a 70%. Okay? But we're going to honor them in the learning community. We have some evidence. They did not achieve a 31%, rounded up to a 50. I'm sorry, they did not. If you do that, you do not use the words personalized butterfly metric system. Don't tell people you're using it, because we don't want you to tell people you're using it, because you would not be. You got to stick to these parameters so you don't have metrics misalignment, anything else. This is designed so you can't mess it up, okay? Conversely, if the student has hundreds of 85% assets, the teacher can bump up their grade to 100% if it's in the best professional judgment of the teacher. You could also leave the grade at 85%. You could also, lower the grade, but you're taking these assets, and you don't have to select option 1. But if you select option 1, you could do it right there during your instructional time and take a real good look at it and really digest what the student's doing. But if you have a section of, in some states they have a section of 40 or 50 students, and you don't want to do option 1, or it doesn't make sense, well, you can look through that portfolio. You don't need to sit there all weekend long doing grades, because it's hard to break it to you, but what you've been doing is statistically insignificant anyways. It just is. It's a waste of time. The personalized butterfly metric system is not a waste of time. On the personalized butterfly metric system, you don't have to get to the end of marking period and say, "Whoa, that kid had strep throat and they're a really good student, but they achieved a 72%. I'm going to round it up to a 75." When you know deep down in your heart, they actually achieved a 92%, or whatever, for example. So I think you get the idea. So the grade computation, we're never taking an average. The only thing you're ever going to take an average of are the assets. But you don't have to take an average. Remember, averages can only tell us consistency. It tells very little about teaching and learning and personalized student achievement. 7. All report card grades come exclusively from the personalized butterfly metric system without exception. No report card grades can be changed or computed by parents, administrators, students, or anyone else other than the teacher in the PBMS. The teacher has full autonomy inside the parameters of the personalized butterfly metric system, and the administrator has no say whatsoever in the report card grades inside the personalized butterfly metric system. The personalized butterfly metric system is run by the teachers and not the administrators. The caveat is, you teachers listening, you have to stay inside the personalized butterfly metric system. So if it's going to be a challenge for you and you're going to have to do an average and take some zeros that the student achieved on homework or 32% they achieved on a quiz, then don't tell anybody you're using the personalized butterfly metric system, because we don't want that kind of publicity, because you're not. Remember, only assets go into the personalized butterfly metric system portfolio. So from those assets, you're going to decide as the teacher. And this is going to be hard for some people to hear, but some teachers inside the personalized butterfly metric system will take an average for one student, personalized assessment, and another student, they will not take an average. They could take mean, median, mode. Mean would be the average, but they could take qualitatively take a grade, but the grade is only coming from the assets. So student by student. That's why option one is really nice one to choose, because it's just a great experience in those showcases for those students, and they're just so proud. And some people use option one, and we've gotten away from having parents and community come into schools, unfortunately. But you could do that too. You clear it with your building level administrator, but um, for option one, you could have your administrators come in during those showcases. But there's no right or wrong answer. It's up to the best professional judgment of the teacher. And that could be a entry level teacher, could be a master level teacher. It's up to the teacher. And it doesn't matter if the teacher just started teaching. It's the teacher. It's not the administrator that decides. And then teachers, you need to stay inside the personalized butterfly metric system for all the reasons we talked about in the beginning slides with metrics misalignment and all those things. And you will have statistically significantly measured personalized student achievement, personalized assessment. And that sounds like a small thing. It's a huge, huge thing. It's the missing piece of the puzzle, and you will have done it. Okay, for number 8, yes, the teachers have full autonomy, full control inside the personalized butterfly metric system. However, teachers, I have to break it to you. Number 8, the administration can view the personalized student achievement assets inside the personalized butterfly metric system portfolio anytime the administration wishes. Especially if you're doing this as a whole district or as a whole school building, the principal could come in. Let's say you're doing it as a whole middle school. The middle school principal has the right inside the personalized butterfly metric system to come in and view the portfolios, view the assets anytime they want. But if your building's not doing this and you're just doing this as the teacher because you want to do this, then no administrator is even going to look or check. They aren't even going to know what the personalized butterfly metric system is unless you tell them, which you should tell them. Share it with them. Share this video with them. Don't try to put it into an email to them, though, because they will not understand. They'll think you're nuts. Literally. It also won't work in a novel or a textbook. Send them a link to this video if you want. But if you're a teacher that's doing this, there's a good chance the administration will never know or never ask, because the social norm for education for decades is the teacher comes up with their grade however they wish, all these different ways, and none of them are statistically significant. None of them measure what they claim to measure. It's just really a big waste of time. Our time is so limited on this earth, even if we live to be 100 years old. Again, my biggest pet peeve is wasting time. So if you do this as a teacher, and then the principal comes in and says, what is going on? You took an average for this student, you didn't take an average, you just show them the personalized butterfly metric system, give them a link to this, and you have all the evidence. Think about it. Inside all these personalized butterfly metric system portfolios is evidence of your teaching effectiveness. Your teaching effectiveness is measured and memorialized. So you measured and memorialized your teaching effectiveness, and it memorializes the achievement of your students. The most important thing. It's at a much higher level than just giving a bunch of assignments and having your report cards riddled with John Doe, 21%, rounded up to a 50. Had every opportunity to stay after school and make up work, but chose not to. Lacks responsibility. What you're really documenting there is your own teaching ineffectiveness. And there's no reason that all your students can't be successful and taste success, at least at a mediocre level. Because a C minus 70% is mediocre. It's just barely an asset. Number 9, the personalized butterfly metric system portfolios can be inserted into the student's cumulative folders to memorialize evidence of teaching effectiveness and student achievement, and or to provide backup for state education department auditing, and or in states where high school accreditation reviews are required at the district's guidance and direction preferences. So again, if you just do this as a teacher, nobody's going to ask for it, but you should showcase it anyways. In addition to the student showcase, if you select option 1, you should be showcasing student work, and you have it in the portfolios. In the case of states that, for instance, out west, there's a lot of states. California comes to mind. Hawaii is way out west. They come to mind too. They both are subjected to the Western Association of Schools and Colleges, WASC accreditation, and every public school needs to be accredited and go through the accreditation process. I've chaired many of those, and I've been on many of those visiting committees over the years. And one of the biggest things is that we're looking for is evidence of student achievement. And if you want to get that four-year accreditation, these will really help you if you're a district office level administrator watching this, and you're in those states. And there are other states that have similar processes, and this really provides you with the evidence for you. We would call these K through 12th grade learning portfolios. And every time we would have a WASC review, we would get a 4 just from these K through 12th grade learning portfolios. And I just changed the name to personalized butterfly metric system, but this system has worked for a decade, and it could work for as long as you use it. If you stay inside the system, it will always work. The only time it will not work is if you're shouldering the disruptive leadership on your shoulders as the administrator. It won't work. It just doesn't work. But the system can shoulder it perpetually, forever. And that's really cool. That's really neat. So use these how you want if you're a district office person. If you're a teacher watching this, it doesn't really matter. You just keep these in your back pocket. But it as a whole school district, you might choose to collect these in they could be electronic, they could be manila folders. It's up to you. This is a very important piece. because teachers already have enough things on their plate. This is not another initiative. Initiatives do not work. They cannot work. Even if the initiative does what it claims to do, statistically significantly increases reading levels or reading comprehension or whatever it is, it still won't work if you put it in the top of the historical system. But this works, and an administrator cannot tell a teacher to select option 1. So we don't want to put more on the teacher's plate, in other words. If the teacher doesn't want to have students do the showcase during their instructional time, they don't have to. The teachers run the show on this if they have to stay inside the parameters of the personalized butterfly metric system, obviously, but an administrator will not be telling the teacher. If you're doing that and you're an administrator, do not tell people you're using the personalized butterfly metric system, because you would not be. Okay. 10. Teacher showcases evidence of highly effective teaching and learning, as well as evidence of student achievement, as they wish, at the teacher's pleasure. If the teacher decides to have a personalized butterfly metric system showcase, option 1, then administration, families, and shareholders can be invited as the teacher desires. PBMS showcases can be limited to the classroom as well. The teacher and not the administrator has full autonomy over all the above decisions in the personalized butterfly metric system regarding the personalized butterfly metric system showcases. Personalized butterfly metric system showcases are not required by the PBMS, because you could select option 2. And again, that choice is not a district office level choice. That is the choice of the teacher. And that's very important, especially when you look at different content areas and different things that are going on. And if you're the teacher, I would suggest you try option 1 and try option 2. Try option 1 in one section, try option 2 in another section. And you only have to do it one time, and I suspect you will get a feel for which one would work for you. Because the last thing we want to do is have some cumbersome thing to add to all the cumbersome things that teachers already have on their plates. The personalized butterfly metric system should also be making the teacher's life more convenient, and or their professional life more convenient and fulfilling and effective, not giving them an extra thing to do. This should increase or improve the teacher's efficiency and have the teachers spending more time with their families and less time grading papers, mindlessly grading papers. Number 11 is just designed around if a student has a phobia of public speaking, or they have an outburst, or they have a discipline problem and they're in school suspension or something, or sick. If the student doesn't participate in the showcase and the teacher selects option 1, well, that teacher could come back and say, well, they weren't there, they need the responsibility to be there. Well, then put responsibility on the report card, and that's your grade. Just take your content area right off it, you know. But it's more designed for at the district office level, when you have a revolving door of teachers and administrators, that you can't have metrics misalignment just creep in. So the teacher is going to have to go into the portfolio if the student doesn't participate in the showcase and computate their grade from that portfolio, their report card grade, their marking period grade. In the personalized butterfly metric system, an asset-based system, number 12, the final phase, the final thing for the teacher to do pragmatically, is enter the report card grade for each student exclusively from the personalized butterfly metric system and exclusively from the personalized butterfly metric system portfolio. All of your students should have achieved at least a mediocre C- 70% asset, at the very least. if you're a teacher and you say, well, I'll use John Doe again. John Doe didn't do anything. They didn't pay attention. Um, they didn't even take notes in class when everyone else was taking class. Well, in the course of that marking period, during the time of that marking period, you should be an effective enough of a teacher to have collected some evidence from that John Doe and collected some evidence of your own teaching effectiveness. The personalized butterfly metric system highlights teaching effectiveness and personalized student achievement. It honors all of our students and it statistically counts every single one of our students. So if you as the teacher, I'm talking to the teachers here, or it could be the administrator checking to see, but teachers, if you look and you have half your class, failing, then go back and look in your portfolios. You did something wrong, or you deviated from the system. But if you stick inside the system, teachers, I think you'll waste a lot less time, and you will feel much more fulfilled. How does the teacher computate the grade from those portfolios? Well, I already listed it. We already listed that and detailed that. It could be this way for this student, that way for that student, and a different way for another student. They don't have to take a single average, or they could take all averages of the assets. That's fine too. We're not really showing statistical significance for that. We're showing statistical significance for collecting evidence of personalized student achievement in an asset-based system. And that is what the teacher in the school building, if the whole school building or school site is doing that, or the school district, that is what you have achieved. It sounds like a small task, but this is slipped through the fingers of education for years. And remember, if you need the long form version, go back and look at the other modules. All the things that we do and focus on, the hours and hours of in-services, professional developments, consultants, research-based initiatives, they cannot mathematically work inside the system. Because the historical system, not the personalized butterfly metric system, but the historical system, because the historical system mathematically does not measure personalized student achievement. Never did. Never claimed to. But you just did it. You just pulled it off. And get ready for Ed Week to come out to your school district or district administrator to come out and do a story and celebrate you as teacher of the year or principal of the year or superintendent of the year, because you will have done it. I hope you like the system. I hope you like these modules. Go over to multiplemetrics.org and check out all the free resources. If you are a superintendent of schools and you would like to pilot this or do the butterfly metric system in your whole school district, but you'd like somebody to help with the shouldering of it, we will come out and help you shoulder it, or we will shoulder it for you, and the system will shoulder it. The disruption of the historical public educational system. And we would love to come out and do a board workshop of these modules with you. If you're a board member and you'd like to see this, go tell your, don't have an illegal meeting or anything, but go tell your board president that you'd like to see this, and tell your superintendent. And if you get us airfare tickets out there and hotel accommodations, as long as we can do it, because we can't be everywhere at the same time and time is very limited. But if we could do it, we'd love to go out and do a free board workshop for you. The last thing you need to do, though, the last thing you should do is invest in another initiative. Stop doing that. That will never mathematically work. We already did the math on that several times. It will not work, and it's like a lobotomy when school districts do that. So be the first school district in your county to do something that can make a statistical difference in your outcomes systematically over the long haul, perpetually. Be the first to do that. So think outside the box. We're way outside the historical public educational system, And we are actually going to collect evidence and memorialize personalized student achievement. And that is the future.